What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. New logo, new name, same great redhead. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to the new Friday night show, Hockey Stick Talk Nation, where we're going to dive in, talk about hockey, cards, maybe a little bit of cards, but mostly just hockey talk. Get you guys caught up in everything going on hockey. First, let's give a big shout out to everyone in the chat. Maiden, CCB, Tim, Goza, Uncanny Swag, Barry. Welcome to all you guys. It's good to be back. Hope you like the new logos, the new name. Goatee Hockey Show, of course, on hold until, or if Perch decides to come back, and we'll decide to come back. And a big shout out to Perch with the new one. Congratulations, buddy. So yeah, a little bit about the new show. We're going to talk about everything hockey. It's going to be every Friday night. It's more of a podcast style. I'm hoping to have people on, talk about teams and players and everything like that. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe and notifications so you guys know what's going on. So thanks, Maiden. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive right in. Hope you like the new ticker at the bottom there. Goes along with the little topics that we're going to talk about and everything. So yeah, we'll dive right in. So recent trades, Allmark to the Sens. I like that. That gives way for Boston to sign Swayman, and I think that's going to be a big contract that he's going to sign. So Allmark to the Sens is going to be good for Allmark as well. He'll be able to be a true number one, which will be good. So I think the Sens are going to have a really good year this year with everything going on. New head coach Travis Green, be more of a defensive-minded team and everything. Thanks, Barry. So yeah, and then moving on, Boston gets Jonas Corpusalo, and the Sens only retain $1 million of Corpusalo's contract, which is huge because that was a big contract that they got out of. And Boston also gets Mark Kostelic, fourth line center, and they got their first round draft pick back for this year's draft, which is pretty cool. So good on Boston. So be Corpusalo will have a $4 million cap hit over 4 seasons for the Sens, which isn't bad at all. Red Wings trade Wallman to the Sharks and a second round pick. Detroit gets future considerations, whatever that will be, either money, player to be named later, we don't know. So good on them. Detroit trying to make the playoffs this year, so we'll see what happens there. So that'll be good. Sharks really building around Macklin Celebrini and all the young kids coming up, which is going to be really good for them. Getting a lot of vets in there to help guide them in the right direction. Then we got the recent signings, which will be DeMello signs 4 years with the Jets, worth $4.9 million per season. Not a bad contract there, and he'll be on the number one pairing with Josh Morrissey. So that'll be really good there too. So, and then we got Casey Milstat, shout out TCB, former Buffalo Sabre, signs 3-year extension with the Avs, worth $5.75 million, which is a steal, really. If he has a good year, that could be one of those Zach Hyman type of contracts that Edmonton got. So stay tuned on that one. Then you also got the Quentin Byfield, which signs 5-year, $31.25 million contract, which is crazy. And he's a year younger than Laffy, so it'll be interesting to see what Laffy will sign to as well there. Hey, Budget, thanks for coming, buddy. Anyone else I missed, let me know. But yeah, so that was a good signing there. And then you got Stamkos signing with Nashville and Marchessault signing with Nashville. That was huge. Very huge. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Then you got the recent Hall of Fame nominees, which is really interesting to me. So we got Pavel Datsyuk, we got Jeremy Roenick, Shea Weber, Chrissy Wendell Pohl, Natalie Darwitz. Those are all the player ones, which is going to be really good. Hey, Robert. So that'll be really good to see. That'll be good. I still like to see Alexander McGinley in there because I really think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well. But those are really good people, and it's about time to see Jeremy Roenick in there. Long overdue. Long overdue for Roenick. So be really good. That looks like a really good Hall of Fame class. Pavel Datsyuk, of course. What can you say with the Red Wings teams? I mean, unreal. And then in the builder category, you have Colin Campbell and David Pohl, which David Pohl really should be in there for all he's done for that Nashville organization. He built it from expansion team to where it is today. They just keep pumping out the defensemen through drafts. They know how to draft defensemen, and they just keep pumping them out. I mean, Shea Weber, one of his draft picks, Roman Josi. So really good to see there. So yeah, David Pohl really deserving to be in the Hall of Fame for the builders category. Can't wait to see that. Colin Campbell, don't really know too much about him, but from what I read, pretty good team builder there too with franchises. So very good to see. And some retirees. This one's a little bit towards the Rangers goes up. Glenn Sather retires after 45 years in the NHL. So he went with teams with like the Oilers, the Rangers. So he's been around. Congrats to Glenn Sather and all that you've done for the Rangers and the Oilers. As you can see, we've got the Hall jersey in the back here and the Stanley Cup champs. So yeah. And then also Joe Pavelski, who I think, even though never won a cup, is going to be a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Just for everything he done, and hopefully he retires as a Shark, because that would be really great to see. Because Pavelski, when you think of the Sharks, you think of Pavelski, Marleau, and Jumbo Joe Thornton. The core three there, it's really level or brought up the Sharks. And hello, welcome All About Hockey. Appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Seeing you there. Go Leafs, go. Yeah, maybe. So a little bit of thoughts here. The new uniforms and logos. I really like the Ducks uniform. The orange, it reminds you of the old Mighty Ducks with the new school kind of flavor, and I like the orange eye. It really pops, so I really do like those jerseys. They are really nice looking, clean. I like the hockey stick with the straight edge. Like, just so it really took time to design it, and it really looks really good. And it reminds me of the old Anaheim Ducks logo with the new twist to it, which is really nice. And then the Kings, like, wow. Congrats on the Kings for finally bringing back those jerseys and the colors. They look so sick. Like the old Gretzky logo, the Kings logo, like the gray and the black, like it just really pops. So those are some really nice jerseys as well, and I can't wait to see them actually in game, so you can get like the full view of it, which will be really good. The Utah jerseys, I like them, but I don't. Like, it's good for 1 year. Um, that's all I really got to say. Like, it'll be interesting to see what the actual jerseys look like next year and what logo they're going to go with. All roads lead to, I know Maiden doesn't like this, but it leads to the Yeti. Um, that seems to be where they're going. I don't think anyone really will say it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be. If I was a bet man, 99.5% it's going to be the Yeti. I know people are like, Yeti foot on Colorado, but Colorado, it's they have the mountain with the C too, or the A, so it won't be, it won't mesh, so it won't. If you know what I'm trying to say, it'll have its own branding. So yeah, that'll be cool. I really like the blue in the Utah jersey. Like, it's really nice, the baby blue. There's no other teams with it. Kind of reminds you of the Thrashers baby blue, which is really nice too. Um, yeah, like the jerseys, I, there's like mixed impressions on them. They're either good or they're not. Fanatics, you'll have to see to really get the full effect of them, I guess. It's like everyone hates on them for the first, and then they conquer one. So it'll be really interesting to see. Um, so for all the Oilers fans in there, let's talk a little bit about Draisaitl's future in Edmonton. That's a big one. Um, he was on record saying, "I love being an Oiler more than anything," but the real question is, will they get it done? Because from my hearing, both sides aren't really communicating right now, and I think it all depends on this year, really. Um, can Edmonton afford him? Does he want to go and run his own team? Does he want to be McDavid's wingman? I know they're best friends, but be interesting to see because the Oilers could use that money to kind of build a little bit better too. So I don't know. I mean, 50-50. He'll either sign or he won't. I think it's going to depend on the season. If they come in really strong, maybe they'll have the contract talks and they'll get the ball rolling. Or if they don't finish very well, then you might see them. You might see him want to test it, see what he can get out there. I mean, they can still try to sign him, but maybe he'll test to see what offers are out there and who would want him and for what kind of money. And it's going to be a big contract. It really is. It's going to be, I say, 7 or 8 years for 100 mil, maybe, if not more. Because he's a very good point per game player. He proved himself in the playoffs. He could be a number one center. You can put him on wing. Like, he's very versatile and he's good 200-foot player. So he can play D, he can score. Yeah, that's true. CCB, there will be a tax-free state calling. So that's one that I'm really interested in seeing next year. I mean, Vegas don't have the cap room. They spent all their stuff in all the ITL. They're gonna have to get so many players on ITL to even try to get them there. So Tampa Bay would be good. I don't know if you want to go to the East. You might want to stay in the West. Um, Utah might be in there too. So, I mean, there's all kinds of interesting scenarios that could go on with this one. So that one's really I'm going to keep my eye on that one because that one seems really like 50-50, like I said. Like, he could either stay or he could go. It all depends. Another team really that could try would be Columbus. They have a ton of cap room. Would Calgary try just to be that person to Edmonton? You never know, right? So Montreal. There's all kinds of teams out there really that could really that have the cap room could go after them. The Ducks, the Flyers. He'd be a really great flyer guy, as much as I hate to say it, but he's got that flyer built to him. And yeah, Calgary just can't seem to get together no matter what they do or who they bring in. But I think they're in full on rebuild here now anyway. So, I mean, yeah. So another topic we're going to talk about too is draft prospects to watch for the Calder race. So this one a little bit interesting. Some players from last year still considered as this year's Calder race. So this one I really had to dig in deep and kind of think of who would be my top 5 for the Calder race here. I really went with Macklin Celebrini, who I think is going to be hands down better than Connor Bedard. He's a 200-foot player. He reminds me of Jonathan Taves, which is going to be beneficial to the Sharks dynasty there with Will Smith and now Sam Dickinson, who they got #1 defenseman now. So they're really building from the core, which is they're going to have their core 3 there. They just need to find a good goalie, and then they'll be set. They build from the because they got their D set. You got your first line set, which is going to be set for years and years to come. So Sharks are really very interesting team. If they could just, I'd really like to see them try and get Yaroslav or Akarov from Nashville, who I think could be their #1 goalie going forward, and then they'd have a set core, which is going to be a very dangerous team in the West in a few years to come if they could get him. But yeah, so that was my #1. #2 is going to be Matei Michkov from the Flyers, who's coming over this year. That one's going to be really interesting. Hey, Christopher, thanks for coming. He's a guy who's going to really look out for. I think he fits the Flyers mold perfectly. TCB, you just missed. We talked about some Sabres. You have to go rewatch. Michkov's going to be deadly for the Flyers. So I have him and Celebrini 1 and 2. They're like 50-50 on both. They have a good shot. And then a couple of dark horses I got going on. Logan Stankoven from Dallas, who I think is going to have a real breakout year for Dallas this year as Pavelski stepped away and a couple other those Dallas stars are slowly starting to retire. You might see him get traded in the trade deadline. So Stankoven is going to be a really good one to watch. Definitely, if you haven't, try to pick up some of his cards as well. They're going pretty cheap, and he's going to be a real good player. So just take a look at that. And then Flyers fans, sorry, the new Duck, Cutter Gauthier. I think he's going to excel in the Ducks with Seagrass and all those young core there. So watch out for him because I have a real good feeling Cutter Gauthier is going to light up the league, especially with the Ducks. If he can find that his wingers to kind of play with and get his groove in there, maybe not this year, but next year he should be pretty made. He should be next year should be a crazy year for Kataguchi. So just that's another one. If you were thinking about picking up some cars, maybe pick up his car. You're going to see growth in that one as well. So definitely pick up Connor Gucci card. And then my last one from the Sharks will be Will Smith. He's not going to college. He's going to play with the Sharks with Celebrini, which is going to be really good. Those two played against each other in the World Juniors and in college, so that'll be fun to see. Will Smith, more of a sniper and playmaker, and Max Celebrini, playmaker and defensive player. So that's going to be a really good mix to really see how they gel. And I have a feeling that's going to be a really big line for the Sharks. Jay's Mix Alex, what's going on? Thanks for coming, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, Will Smith, like I said, look out. Those are my Calder race there. There are some dark horses there that you could put in, but it all really depends. Leave in the comments what you guys think your top 5 for Calder race would be. Let me know, because I really like to see where you guys stack up on this as well. And then I'll read them next Friday on air, so we can kind of go back and see who was right and who was wrong. And there's some trying to think of the word here. I lost it. But yeah, so some dark horses in there. Yeah, that's the word. So yeah, this year, most improved team so far. Ooh, this one's pretty good. Yeah, bragging rights for sure, Maiden. I don't know about the Hawks, Chris. The Hawks still, I'm not really sold on them yet. They still have goalie issues. They got Peter Mrazek. They still don't have number one goalie. Mrazek to me is a backup. Same with Bassar. He's still a backup. So I don't know about the Hawks. But yeah, this year's most improved team so far. I have 2, but I'm sure there's more right now. But I have Nashville sitting at the top. Nashville went out and had a big offseason. I still cannot believe that Tampa did not sign Stamkos, and Nashville scooped him right up. Same with Marceau. Marceau, Ryan O'Reilly, Roman Yossi, Steven Stamkos, Cody Glass. This is going to be a team that you are not going to want to play against. They got UC Saros and Nets who are locked up or going to lock up. They'll probably trade Askarov for some more depth into that organization. I'm scared for anyone who has to play Nashville. He's slow, but he still got the sense and he can still score CCB. So he may slow down a little bit, but he's still Steven Stamkos that you gotta watch out for. But yeah, Nashville definitely. I'll be scared for any team that has to play them first round of the playoffs and in the season. So the other surprising team is Seattle, who signed Brandon Montour and a bunch of other guys. That's going to be a nice little team if they can get everything together. New coach there who coached in the AHL for them coming up. So Seattle could be another team that I would really watch out for. Hey, Southern boys, thanks for coming. Because with Montour there now on the back with Larson and all them, and then you got your rookies from last year coming up, and you should see Shane Wright this year, which is going to be really good. Shane Wright will be a big asset this year, especially spending all that time in AHL. I think it's really going to help him. You're going to see a real big year out of him. And of course, you got my boy Jordan Eberle there, who I think should be the captain for that team. But it probably won't happen, but it'd be really good if it did. I think he's still got a bit he can teach and all that with those younger cores. So, yeah. We're starting to see, too, like, I think the NHL now, too, is starting to go towards back to the 80s where you have the bigger guys protect now. Like, you got your Rempies coming up. Um, Tom Wilson, I know not a lot of people like him, but he's a great player. Marchand, he's got a little bit of that toughness to him too, which is really good. So I think you're starting to see teams get bigger, stronger for that fourth line to kind of really protect those star players. Yeah. So and then teams to look out for this year. This one I'm really excited for. I have four and a dark horse here on this one. So my teams to really look out for are the Ducks this year. I think they're going to be on the cusp of making the playoffs. They won't be there yet, but they'll be right on the cusp there to make it. The Flyers, I think, are going to be right in the mix for the playoffs this year because the East or the Metropolitans kind of winding down a little bit for some of the stronger teams in there. Then I know not a lot of people are going to like this, but the Canadians, I think, are going to have a real strong year this year with all those defensive prospects they have, all the young talent they got. So Sorokoski taking a big step last year, Nick Suzuki taking a big step, like, and a couple of the off-season pickups that they got. They signed a bunch of guys that are really going to help the depth of that team, and I think they're going to be another team to really watch out for, and they're probably going to be right on the cusp of making the playoffs. They might miss it by 5 points, maybe, or a little bit less. So just watch out for them. And then Utah, who I think is really going to be on the cusp too after picking up Sergachev from Tampa, who's going to be really solidify that back end a little bit. Of course, they have no goalie, so that's going to be iffy. But I think they'll, where they move to a new arena and get a little bit of new life into them, that's really going to propel them a little bit to try and get there. So watch out for that. And this one for TCB, the Buffalo Sabres. Watch out for them. I think this is the year they finally put everything together, and you're going to see a real different Buffalo Sabres team. I really, the signing of the coach, iffy on that. Lindy Ruff, he's a good coach, but it seems like Buffalo keeps recycling everybody. I would really like to see them go on a different way with the coach, but I mean, I really think that they're going to be a different team this year and really going to contend this year. So I really, if I would say the dark horse for making the playoffs, it's going to be Buffalo. So really watch out for that Buffalo Sabres team because they're going to really surprise and turn a lot of heads if they get everything together. So, yeah, TCB, this might be your year that they break that playoff drought. So, if they do, bud, you heard it here first. Yeah, so a little bit of other things going on. So with the new channel, guys, I'm going to try to bring on some podcasters and stuff to talk about some teams. Like maybe one day we'll talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'll see if I can get someone on to talk about the Leafs. I'm going to bring some of you guys on as well to talk about your favorite teams, what got you to like that favorite team, your favorite player from the past to the present. We're just going to talk about hockey. We'll talk about some cards here and there, but it's mostly just going to be some hockey talk going on. Um, I mean, the Leafs, what can we say about the Leafs? I really think the Leafs got, with Bradley living, they'll have an identity now if they can all buy in. If they can get the star players to buy into Berube's system, which Berube will not hesitate to sit them, which will be great for the Mitch Mariners, the people who aren't producing. He'll sit you. If you're not doing what he wants from this team, done. A really underrated signing for the Leafs. Hey, Tropic, thanks for coming. Would be Philip Myers. Watch out for him. He's a 6'4" or 6'7" defenseman, and he's one of Berube's guys. You can just tell. Wall as your goalie, hit or miss. I'd still like to see a solidified number one goalie there. Wall to me, good goalie, but can he stay healthy? Marner, I don't. Marner, I'm like, I think he's got to go. I wouldn't resign him after the season. Maybe trade him, get some good pieces from him because you'll get a lot from him. You could even get a player that could really help solidify into this roster a bit more. I don't think I would sign him, to be honest with you. I think I would just let him either try trade him in the trade deadline or let him walk and keep that money. I really like the OEL signing, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, another good solid defenseman who's really going to help with those minutes from Morgan Riley. And they're stripping Johnny T of the C, which I think should have been done. I don't think he should have got it in the first place. I think it should have gone to Morgan Riley, who's been there forever. He's been there through the ups and downs. He knows how to talk to that media in that area. Like, he is your captain. I don't care who you think should be. Matthews should not be. It should be Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley should have been Leafs captain from the day they signed Tavares to give it to him. It should have been to Morgan Riley. I really love Morgan Riley as a player. He's a great defenseman. You know what you're going to get out of him. He's steady. He's got a shot, but he can defend. He just needs that partner with him. They haven't been able to find that true that pairing partner with him. And hopefully, OEL can be that player because that would be really nice to see those two kind of gel. But I'd let Tavares walk. I wouldn't even sign him back. Just let him go. He's really hasn't done nothing for this team unless you sign him for $75,000 and put him on the fourth line center. That'd be the role I'd offer him, and that's it. I would not want to sign him back. I'd let him go. But yeah, Berube, I think, is going to really shake the core of this Toronto team. I'm kind of interested to see how Nylander will do with Berube, because Nylander, he's up or down, and you don't know what you're going to get with him defensively. So that's where I really kind of iffy there. But yeah, I just want to take some time too, and thanks everyone for coming. It really means a lot. We're back on Fridays with just me, and hopefully a couple of you as guests as well. It'd be really fun to. It's gonna be really fun to talk hockey with you guys and hear your stories. Like, I got a bunch of stories that I can't wait to share with you as well. I'm gonna get some really good guests on here. I've been working already, getting a few. So I got a Sens guy who's going to come on and talk about some Sens in August, and I also have from Locked On. I'm just kind of getting the date settled from Locked On Wild. The announcer there is going to come on and talk about the Minnesota Wild with us, so that'll be fun. Be interesting to meet some new people, hear all your guys' great hockey stories. Yeah, so I can't wait to get this going and rolling more with you guys. Um, I want to say too, Sunday night starting September 22nd, live on the Sunday night card show on Maiden's channel. We're going to be having the Hockey Stick Talk Nation Top 5 every Sunday night starting on September 22nd. So make sure you guys tune in to Maiden's channel too, because you're going to see me on there as well for about 5-10 minutes talking about the top 5. And it's going to be random. You're not going to know till that day. So make sure you tune into that channel and let's grow this stuff together. I'd really love to see some more you guys share this and really let's grow this channel as far as we can get it. Thanks, CCB. I'll look into that. But yeah, so a couple more topics I have here, guys, is which Canadian team will have the best season this year? So we got the Flames, Leafs, Canadiens, Sens, Jets, and Canucks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to have what Canadian team you guys think will have the best season this year. To me, I'm going to say the Sens. I think the Sens really got it all together. Now with Travis Green, they're going to be more defensively sound. You're going to see a lot of good hockey out of them, especially now with a number one starter in Allmark, who I think is really going to do well in the Sens because he wanted that number one role. He's got it now. The Sens have him for 1 year, and they could sign him next year depending on how it really goes. So, really, that would be my pick for which Canadian team I think is going to have the best season. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, what you think the Canadian that's going to have the best season is going to be. Another one is, what will Vegas look like after next year? That's going to be a big one because Vegas lost a lot of players, and Mark Stone can't stay healthy. They got Eichel, Eichel's steady. I'll give him that. He hasn't been injured. He's doing really well. But other than that, that team's in shambles, and they have no draft picks for 2 years. They have no number one draft picks for 2 years. Hey, Tim, how are you, buddy? Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. So I'm really interested to see, is Vegas going to start rebuilding, or are they still going to be all in because they don't have the money to be all in right now? So that's another one I'm kind of iffy on. That one, to me, if I was Vegas, I'd start rebuilding, start trading away some of these players that are like slowly expiring, like Thomas Hurdle, stuff like that. Start getting some draft picks in there to start rebuilding this situation because they have no talent in their farm system at all. So it's going to be real tough for Vegas fans. So I'm wondering if they don't rebuild to keep the crowds in there, is Vegas going to be another one of those Atlanta Thrashers teams where we see go away? I don't know. They did win a cup, yeah, but they need those star players there to bring in people. So tell me what you guys think in the comments, what your thoughts are on the Vegas. Should they rebuild? Should they keep spending money they don't have? I mean, they're the LITR team, so they always find ways. Skinner just had one of those runs. Goalies will get them where they just can stop anything for that little bit of time. So that's why Edmonton went as far as they did. Another thing is, will Detroit finally break the playoff drought? This one I'm curious to see because they have the pieces and they have the goalies. But can Stevie Boy finally break that playoff drought with these players? And my answer is yes. This year will be the year they break the playoff drought. They're going to edge out a few teams in the East to get up to. They'll make the playoffs. I think they'll get fourth place, kind of make the playoffs in the fourth seed. They might not go far in the playoffs. They might make it out of the first round, but second round, I have a feeling they'll be kind of booed out. But it'll be good experience for those younger guys that are there, and it'll make them a little bit hungrier. And on the hungrier topic, you're going to see a McDavid you've never seen before this year. Mark my words. He got a taste of that Stanley Cup. He is going to be super, super hungry to get back there. And I think you're going to see a beast of a McDavid that you've never seen before this year. So stay tuned on that because he is going to be insane, I think, this year. Hey, Cats from Nelson, thanks for coming, buddy. Yeah, so he's going to be a different McDavid. He's going to be totally different. Last year, he led the league in assists. This year, I think he's going to lead the league in goals. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets 115 goals this year. Yeah, it's just going to be crazy there. So, Edmonton, they'll make the playoffs again, and it'll be because of McDavid this year. And Bouchard really stepped up too last year, so he'll have a big contribution there as well. Yeah, so another team that we could talk about too, who I think is really taking a step back, is going to be Washington. I think Ovechkin's just playing now to try and beat Gretzky. And I think once he beats Gretzky, I think that's when you'll see him finally retire. But Washington's slowly starting to bring in younger pieces now to kind of start building that team for when Ovechkin leaves, which will be, though you'll see them not be competing for a little bit there. So it might be a couple years before you see Washington back in the playoffs. I'd say maybe 4 or 5. We'll start getting assets back for some players. Tom Wilson will stay. I don't think you'll see Tom Wilson go anywhere. He'll be the next captain there. Another surprising thing was Kuznetsov put on waivers to go play in the KHL, which I figured was going to happen anyway, because he's in that point of his career where he'll want to go play a couple years in his hometown and then retire. Yeah, they do need a young D. That'll help them out there. I think they got a couple good young prospects already, like Henrik Lapierre, who's going to be a really good player in Washington. So really, if you haven't started collecting his cards, collect his cards because you're going to see growth in those as well. But yeah, Florida. I think Florida's going to take a step back this year. I really don't think they're going to contend for the Cup. They lost a few good key pieces there that really held together that decor, and they brought in some mediocre pieces. So I think Florida's going to step back this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bob retire in the next year or two, and then you'll see Spencer Knight come up and take over that role, which will be good for him. What's Crosby going to do next season? I think Crosby gets a deal done maybe on his birthday, which is next week. I think or in August, you'll see him sign a contract for 3 years, and then he'll retire as a Penguin. He'll sign for 3 years, probably for a good chunk of money, and then he'll retire to pass that torch on. I really think the Penguins need to get rid of Dubas, though. Dubas is really hurting that team. and hopefully Crosby will say something to kind of get him out of there. I mean, there's a lot of people that like Dubas, but I don't think Dubas could be a general manager. Oh, it's the next Bedard, hey? That one I have to get back to you, Alex, because I'm not too sure. I'd have to get back to you on that one. Maybe next Friday, I'll take a look and see who I think the next Bedard's going to be. I don't. Generational talents are hard because they only come around certain times. So, like, Bedard to me isn't a generational talent. He's a star player, yes, or an elite player, but not a generational talent like Crosby or McDavid. So, a lot of people are hyped on the Bedard train. I'm not. And yeah, Bedard's Bedard. Like, till he can prove himself as a winner. I mean, you can put the pieces in and around him, but is it going to work though? That's the thing. So you really gotta watch what you're doing. And from what I hear, he's a cancer in the dressing room. He's got a big ego, and it's about Bedard. It's not about the team. It's about Bedard. So I mean, everyone can come off calm, cool, and collective in an interview or talking, but why are they like behind the scenes? That's the biggest thing. So that's where you got to really kind of take it with a grain of salt what you see and what you don't see. But yeah, from what I hear, he's a cancer in the dressing room. That's why they brought in a lot of those veteran players when Chicago drafted them, because that's usually typically yes, maybe you probably did. Um, but yeah, so usually if you see a star player getting drafted like that, and you see a lot of veterans coming in, it's probably because they don't have a real good locker room lead. So that's why you'll see a lot of veterans coming in and help them kind of grow into that position. So yeah, Bedard's got the ego right now, but maybe a couple of years with Foligno there and everyone kind of keeping him in check, kind of help put him to that leader. But I don't think Chicago will ever have a leader like they had in Jonathan Toews. Mr. Serious, he was probably one of the best leaders that you could ever have, and teammates like Mackin Celebrini reminds me so much of him. So that's who I'm really hyped on is Celebrini. But yeah, guys, Cale Addison. Cale Addison's going to be a good player. Um, you really, I think the Wild really had to let him go because of all the young defense that they got coming up, and I don't think they really wanted to. But Cale Addison's going to be a real good player for the Sharks. Um, he's going to be steady. He won't be top four, maybe top six. He'll be your third line pairing. Other than that, he'll he'll play the top 4 minutes if someone gets hurt. But yeah, all star players have the egos because that number one draft pick just goes right to your head. So yeah, that's why a lot of the veterans come in to kind of cool them down and show them the ropes. Yeah, true, CCB. Yeah, definitely. Kalen Addison will be a good. You'll get good upside from him, Maiden. He will. Same with Zach Jones on the Rangers. He's not going to be top four, he's top six, and I love the kid. He's not a very tall defenseman, maybe 5'10", 5'11", but steady defenseman, stay at home defenseman, can shoot, can play the power play minutes, but mostly relied on the defensive end. So, like guys like that, you really gotta look out for. Thanks, Sensei Domino. Appreciate you coming, buddy. Thanks so much. Connor Dwyer, he's third, fourth line. He'll be good, steady. Um, Dwyer, I think he's really going to find his footing under Craig Berube. You're going to see Berube use him a lot because he's a grittier player. He'll get into the boards and he'll get into those dirty areas in front of the net, in the corners. But Connor Dwyer would be another one to kind of really, he could get cheap too. So he'd be another one to kind of watch. Asim does have potential, yep. He won't be top 4, top 6, like I said. He's got potential, but he's a little bit on the older side too. So he's kind of grown to what he is and what he will be. But he'll be great in the Sharks, so it'll help Sam Dixon a lot. Yeah, he will. He'll get some really good minutes. Dwyer will get a lot of penalty kill minutes there, Maiden. So really watch out. He'll be on the second penalty kill there, if not the third. Yeah, Taves, like I said, you're never going to find another leader like Jonathan Taves. How young of age he was in there, and he learned from a lot of the older players like the Seabrooks and stuff like that. So Taves is one of the most underrated captains, I think, in the NHL when he was there. Yeah, definitely made in 6-8 minutes. Yep. Third line, maybe fourth line. All depends where Berube sees him. He could slot in on the second line too if a player's hurt, because he does have that little bit of scoring touch. So yeah, definitely. He's a good utility player. He's solid defensively, but he can score as well. But yeah, guys, hope you really enjoy the new show and the new logos and everything like that. I hope you enjoy the ticker at the bottom. I thought that was really cool, so that way you guys can see what we're going to talk about and everything like that. Next week, hopefully, going to have maybe one of you guys on. I'm going to reach out to some of you guys and see who would want to come on and talk some hockey, maybe talk your favorite team next week and see. We'll find out what you think about your team. We'll go through. Biggest thing, though, I think, is if you're going to build a team, you need to start from the goalie out. Forwards, you can draft any year because there's always going to be a ton of forwards that can score or be whatever you need. But a solid goalie, an elite goalie, they can draft from, and then defense. That's how you build a good team. You want to build from the goalie out. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the new Friday show, new time. I really appreciate all you guys being here today. It means a lot. Next Friday we'll be on same time. Yeah, let me know in the comments or reach out to me what some topics you might want to talk about are. I got some here, but I really like to hear what you guys, some topics you guys would like me to talk about. So yeah, let me know in the comments or Instagram or emails on there as well, so we can get this going. But yeah, hopefully I'm gonna have a person on for each team, which will be fun. And then once the season starts, we'll be rolling into some questions there as well and see, maybe do a prediction show where we predict who's going to be in the playoffs and who's going to win or who's going to lose, who's going to get number 1 draft pick, like all kinds of good stuff. So thanks everyone for coming. Hope you all have a good night and hope you all really enjoyed the new show. Let me know in the comments. Remember to hit that like, subscribe, and notification. It really helps the channel. I appreciate you all, and I sent some mail out to some of you, so hopefully you get it. And yeah, till then, hope you guys have a good night. See you soon. Peace out. This is the Hockey Stick Talk Nation show. Sign out. DM. Love you guys. Peace out.